crap that
All
we're
the crap,
interested
all
in.
the crap that we're interested in. I'm Keith Davidson.
I'm Papa Joey Stay,
I'm Tim Rice.
Searching for the
searching for the truth, exploring the unexplained, investigating the paranormal. Subscribe now.
Hit the alert button.
Hit the alert button so you don't miss an episode. Welcome to The Truth
About beer.
and...
And here we are.
Here we are.
Doing a dancer with my fingers.
I know, that's very
It's kind of
impressive.
fun, isn't it?
Do you play keyboards? You did that.
No, I went
You did that.
two-finger keyboard.
Okay.
That was good. That was good.
But
That
trying
was
to
really
use
good.
4 fingers at the same time. I mean, I can do that on the guitar, but
You're getting better at that, though. At the
buttons, that's something different. Wow. It's Tuesday, man.
It is.
Time for another happy unexplained hour. Or
Number 10.
Number 10, right?
we've been in quarantine that long, haven't we?
Holy crap.
Well, in Arizona, they still haven't opened up all the bars yet. So
Yet. I don't know if they will. Who knows?
so we're unemployed musicians right now.
I'm just unemployed.
So that's why we do this.
I had nothing. I had nothing.
He covered
Sorry.
you.
I know. I got that. That's good. So welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks. Welcome to you.
Yeah. It's exciting. We got an exciting show tonight.
We sure do.
Well, let's get this party started.
All right. Well, I'll do it right now. I just hit this button.
And then
You know what that does?
The party started.
what does that do?
That brings on Mr. Jeff Stay from
Hey guys.
Hey,
Blind.
There's a drinking button.
Blind Beer Taste Test. The man
What is
himself.
We got to come up with a theme song for you, Jeff, when we bring
Yeah.
you on.
I think we got to sing it.
If only there were musicians on this show to do that.
I know. They keep telling me they sing.
That's funny.
But Jeff could write his own. He's quite the.
You write it. We'll sing it. Okay.
He's quite the musician himself.
Yep. I've heard that.
Well, thanks.
So what do we got tonight?
All right, tonight is another Uinta beer. These guys just make awesome beer. They almost never let me down. But totally different direction. This one we are going with the Juicy IPA. So
Why don't you
it's
grab
Uinta Clear Days.
Okay, you said
Juicy
almost.
IPA.
What does almost mean? Did you have a bad experience with this one time?
No, it's just not with this beer in particular.
It was almost
no
with this
brewery
beer?
that ever is batting 1,000. You know, there's always going to be a beer or two in any brewery that I personally don't care for.
Almost don't care
but this
for.
is not one of them. I do
Okay.
like this beer. So.
Clear days.
Yeah, so let's crack it. There's nothing fancy. If you're drinking out of the can, that's totally fine. If you pour it in a glass, it's even better. There's nothing fancy
Let's still
about
get the
how
compass.
you would pour it if
Yeah.
you're doing that.
Well, wait. I got to make the sound.
And you guys are still south, and I'm north like it was last time.
That sounded like you were ripping your
I'm-
pants.
Yeah, I'm south and you're
He's
north.
south. I'm north. That's wild.
So, Jeff, did you find out the significance of the compass on top of the beer cans? Have you researched that at all?
There is no significance other than Uinta's branding is just all about being outdoors. Everything that they brew is powered by renewable energy. They use a lot of wind and solar. They use a lot of organic, ingredients. And so, yeah, it's just simply about being outdoors.
So getting lost outdoors has absolutely no effect on where you're headed.
No, if you crack the beer open in one direction, it's not going to guide you home by any means.
That's funny.
It'd be really cool if it did.
It would be.
So let's do our cheers so we can actually try
yeah.
this.
Oh,
I'll get
cheers,
mine.
cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already
There we go.
condomed
Cheers.
mine.
Oh,
Safety.
sorry. I forgot.
Safety precautions.
First, he quarantined.
I
So with
haven't
this
tried this
one-
beer yet, so
Yeah, and so it is an IPA, so you're definitely going to get some hops. You're going to get some bitterness out of this one.
Cheers.
Um,
Proper cheers.
Go ahead and take a drink,
All right.
and then we can talk a little
I'm
bit
going
more
to
about
start
what
the
it is.
recording right now. Well, actually, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Welcome.
We're good.
Oh, yeah,
I know
we
how to
already
take care of
did.
this
We already
now.
did.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try it now.
Wow, that's good.
Oh, I taste mint. Mint.
Mint, interesting.
It tastes hops.
Yes.
Yeah, I taste hops.
So what
and
this is
little grapefruit.
is
Grapefruit.
Exactly. Yep. So when definitely you get some of those notes in there. So a juicy IPA, a hazy IPA, a New England IPA, they are all the same thing. So you're going to get all those different names. You're going to see, different branding. It's the same idea. So of course an IPA, and we won't go too in depth for an IPA. I'll save that knowledge for just a straight up IPA. But of course it's an India Pale Ale. But what makes it a New England IPA or juicy or hazy is a couple unique things. One, it's an unfiltered IPA. So if you were to pour it in a glass, you'd notice it's quite cloudy. You can't see through this one like you can a traditional IPA. So the unfiltered aspect of it, they do a dry hop process on it. So what that means is normally with an IPA, the reason that they're so bitter in what I would consider a good way is they do a wet hop process. They add those hops at the beginning of the boil, which really brings out the bitterness of the hops. Mm-hmm. When you get a New England IPA, they do a dry hop process. So they don't have the hops until the end of the boil. And so what that does is it reduces the bitterness, because this is only 40 IBUs, where you can easily get an IPA that's up in the 60, 70, 80 plus type range. So it's really low on the IBUs. Although this one in particular, for being a juicy, I think the bitterness actually cuts through a little bit more than most juicies, just my opinion. So I'm surprised it's only 40. I actually would think this was probably about a 50 plus. But anyway, so they do the dry hop process, and they use unique type of hops on these ones. It's not your standard hops. It's more like your El Dorado hops or some of them that they talk about on these, Citra hops, things that bring out more of those fruity, juicy flavors, which is, again, why they call this a juicy, is one of the nicknames for it. And then the last thing, which I think is the most unique thing about these New England IPAs, is if you really let it sit in your mouth, you notice there's kind of a thick, really soft mouthfeel to it. Not trying to sound too bougie there, but really
bougie.
Yeah. Where you get that from is they actually add oats to this.
Wait, I got to do this.
They would never do in a normal IPA, but yeah, they add oats. And so the oats really add to the cloudiness. They add to the mouthfeel, make it really soft. So that's something that's really unique about a New England IPA,
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 6% alcohol.
I was going to say,
like
what's the ETA on it?
That would be the ABV.
Oh, yeah. You tell me that every time, don't you?
Just saying alcohol by volume.
I was going to say MVP, but I guess sports are canceled, so it is ETA.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you explain, for Tim's benefit, can you explain the hoppiness scale, I guess, so he understands?
The IBU?
Yeah, the IBU scale.
The IBUs, the International Bitter Units, I believe is what that stands for. My understanding is that basically it's just a scale of 0 to 100. 100 is as high as it can go. So this one's a 40, so it's not even halfway up the scale there. And really, so your typical, like what we drank last week, the Pilsners and things like that. I mean, that's going to be way down in like the 20s. You're hardly getting the bitterness out of that. Even though there are hops in there, they're not bitter almost at all. Where you get into your traditional IPAs, or like I say, are going to be more like the 60s type range. Your double IPAs, which means they've doubled the hops, they've doubled the malt. Now you're getting all the way up into the 80s, the 90s type IBUs. But yeah, IBU really only means something typically in the pale ale to IPA world. As you get into your Pilsners, your stouts, your Hefeweizens, you can look at the IBUs. There is a rating, but it doesn't mean as much.
So there's two acronyms. One's the
ABV.
EBC.
Alcohol by volume.
And
ABCs.
What's the other one on this?
So ABV, alcohol by volume, and then IBU, International
What's
Bitter.
the AVP?
So the ABV is how fast you're going to get drunk.
And to put that in perspective, your typical ABV, like in your Budweiser, if we're talking to Tim, is going to be 5%.
That's not
5%
bad.
5% ABVs in Budweiser.
That's not bad.
So that's kind of middle ground right there.
And what is this one? Do we know this one?
6.
This is 6%.
Oh, okay. So I can have a couple.
Yeah, but then you're going to get into like there was that Dragon's Milk stout that we did the first week that I hopped on.
Yeah.
That was like 11%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was really smooth, and it didn't have a very high IBU, did it?
But notice we only drank one.
No, we drank two.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
We did
drink.
drink
See,
two, yeah.
That's how good it was. I didn't even know we drank two.
It was tasty.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this is right in the middle ground for a pale ale. in terms of the ABV, the alcohol, you're typically going to be at a 5.5 to a 7.5 is technically what qualifies as an IPA. 7.5 and above, 7.5 to like 9.5, that's when you're getting to your double IPAs. Then, Imperial IPAs, you're going even higher than that. But yeah, 5.5 to 7.5. So this is just slightly below average on that.
It's a great can. It's a beautiful can.
It is a beautiful
Yeah,
can.
I like this one.
So do you know of any beers offhand that do reach up in the 90 to 100 range as far as the IBU scale?
Some of the local double IPAs that we have here, I know do.
Lone Star?
Honestly, ones that I wouldn't be sure outside of Utah. Right? There aren't enough of the Imperials or the doubles that I've gotten into outside of Utah. But it's typically going to be a double IPA, is to my understanding, and it could be wrong, but that's about the only way you're going to start getting.
No, I don't think you've ever been
80s
wrong.
and 90s IBUs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just making this all up, guys.
So,
I'm just reading Wikipedia as I talk to you.
let me ask you this. You can't have one favorite. I know that. That would be just stupid to ask you that. I was going to say, what's your favorite beer, but it can't be one.
I do have a favorite.
You do? All right. Then
Yeah.
what's your favorite beer?
I mean, it's called Ghost Rider. I actually looked it up on Total Wine's website. They don't carry it, unfortunately.
Ghost
It's
Rider?
from Wasatch Brewery here in Salt Lake. It's called Ghost Rider. It's a white IPA. Which what makes a white IPA is it's also an unfiltered IPA. So it's in the same type of family, but it's actually the yeast that they use is the same type of yeast that they use in Hefeweizen. And so it's almost a Hefeweizen IPA mix is the easiest, most, simple way to explain it.
A hybrid.
But yeah, yep, a white IPA. Those things are just so damn refreshing. I love them.
Road trip. No, I don't know what that means. We'll have to bring one of those up here, man. I'm looking for a Ghost Rider.
Yeah, can you ship them?
Can we get that locally?
Illegally, I can.
Illegally?
They got it. You know what?
Well,
let me look up white IPAs. They got to carry in it.
Yeah,
Wine.
well-
It's not going to be the Ghost Rider brand, but I know
Right.
they've got it.
Well, I know Total Wine does handle the Wasatch Brewery stuff.
Yeah,
They
which
have
really
had it
surprised me
before.
that they
So
didn't have it.
Maybe we can order it.
Well, I
Yeah,
got a
so
friend in Utah. I can just.
I've got a few.
You've got a lot.
Well, that's right. Your wife has a bunch
My
too, right?
wife has a bunch too. We could get that here probably tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's one where they get into more of like the citrus. They'll add additional flavors to it. They add the coriander, which Papa Joey taught us is just cilantro. But that also is a white IPA.
So, what is it about Utah? I mean, these beers seems to be
because
Utah
they've been
bred.
They've been repressed for so long. And
Utah is it's a secret little gem here.
Yeah.
We for good reason we get a bad rap. I will
That's-
say that.
right.
Although
That's
I
what I
love
was
this
thinking.
silly state, and I've lived in California, I've lived in Vegas, and something always brings me back to this crazy place. But really, there is amazing beer coming out of Utah.
That's fantastic.
We do have strong beer. The whole idea that all of our beer is watered down is
it's all
completely
it's all
incorrect.
3-2. All right.
Yeah, not anymore. But you do have to go to a liquor store to get the real stuff. You can't
Right.
just buy it at the grocery store, so that's lame.
So,
but
by
yeah,
the way,
no, Utah
to my in-laws out there
Yeah.
that know that I drink beer, that's impressive. Utah is a beer drinking state.
It is now.
It really is.
That's amazing.
It's a hidden gem for beer.
It's
But
a
every
party place.
You can't go to any town anymore without a million breweries there, though. So it's really not unique at this point.
Wow, amazing.
That's
I'm amazed. Every time I talk to you, we're amazed.
I know. You got to meet him.
And you grew up with him?
But, he was pretty young when I moved to Arizona. So, see, how old were you
like
in
family.
'84 when I moved to
84,
Arizona?
I was 2 years old. in 84.
Oh, darn. I would have loved to have grown up with him.
You weren't drinking much beer back then.
I've watched him grow up
You don't know that.
through
That's true.
family reunions and pictures.
If you had known then what you know now, he would have moved here a long time ago. So when are we going to see him anyway, or when is he coming here? Did we establish that?
We have not established
He has a
that.
sister that lives here. So
Your
Yeah, I
sister
would have
really
been there
misses
already
you.
if this crazy COVID crap wasn't
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, well, your sister misses you, so
Yeah, and I miss her. I would love to get down there again.
okay, I'll tell her.
That would be great.
you'll tell her. Okay. No, I think I'll have to tell her.
We look forward to your visit.
So do you have any idea?
Actually,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I did have one. I was curious. If you can look at the bottom of your cans, what is the date on that? When does it say it was canned on?
1984.
I meant to ask you this before you opened them.
That's good.
What happens is it's a future date.
Oh, June 4th.
Well, it has to
Canned
be the
on June
same.
4th?
June?
Yep.
Nice. You guys got lucky.
Actually,
Mine
in the
was canned
future,
on
it says June 4th, 2030.
22. That's the expiration date.
Something like that.
So that means I can drink
Well, it says
that
20.
Budweiser.
That's
And it has a 3 after it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Man, you guys get more fresh beer than I do. I'm buying it like almost from the source, and mine was canned on March
Yeah, they're
31st.
leaving the leftovers for the locals.
Is that good or bad? I mean, all right. So one day we're going to have to get into that conversation about the age of beer, and maybe not now, but one day we'll go there.
We're gonna
Yeah, we'll keep it simple with IPAs. IPA is 3 months. You don't want to go beyond 3 months. So technically, the one I'm drinking isn't even ideally fresh. You guys have ideally fresh IPA, so you're probably getting a better experience than I'm even getting right now.
You know,
It's tasty. But the can does prolong the life more,
Absolutely.
better than the
Yeah.
bottle does.
Okay, another question. Do you prefer
Yeah.
a can or a bottle?
I prefer a can at this point. I was always a bottle guy, but I have definitely been converted to the can.
Interesting.
I'm a go-to can poured into a glass.
Mm-hmm.
That can't be beat, in my opinion.
Fantastic.
Now, the dude that we talked to at Santan Breweries, he told us that a can is as close as you can get to a tap.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yep.
Which
Makes
is in
sense.
a can.
There's
Yeah.
absolutely no air getting in or out of
Yeah.
that.
So you're
where a
not
can
getting
with a
the,
bottle.
The tap is in a can.
you can tap the can.
Oh, a keg. You mean
No.
a keg taste or a metal taste?
The taste. No, the cake.
No,
the
from
tap
from
taste.
tap,
From a keg.
from a keg, yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, so it's just a mini keg.
I like the Budweiser from a bottle. I don't know why.
Do you?
Tastes better, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's personal preference.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you
There's
know.
no right or wrong there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I can get those words out. there is a difference, since
There is a difference.
yeah.
Well, we did that with Dead Guy Ale. We did the episode where we tried can and bottle. We compared the two.
Yeah, we found the bottle had more fizz to it, but the can had less of a bitter aftertaste.
Right.
So
All right.
it was like
Nice.
fresher. It did have a fresher,
And it depends on the
a
beer.
fresher finish.
True. It probably
That's actually
does.
one of the
Depends on
episodes I've been wanting to do for Blind Beer Taste Test is can versus bottle.
I
You
think
guys beat me to it.
I think we should
That's awesome.
do. I think we should do it again on here
Yeah.
with you
That would be fun.
But it's
I
got
would
to
be all
depend
for it.
on
on the what?
the brew of the beer. I mean, some
Yeah.
beers can taste better because they're brewed that way. They taste better out of can, and other beers can taste better because in a glass because they're brewed that way.
Well, not only that, you're limited to beers because not every manufacturer makes both cans and bottles,
Right.
so you're kind of limited on what you can test. So
But I have noticed that a lot more of them are starting to come out with cans.
Yep.
Again,
because they're all getting
so,
on the bandwagon.
yeah, which is
And that's a
cool.
lot of these juicy IPAs. They're starting to recommend drinking them out of the snifters, which is kind of I don't know how to describe it. You guys probably know what I'm talking about, but
It's a corked glass, right?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And the idea is usually that's only for high alcohol volume beers.
Right.
But the reason they work so well for these ones is because there's so many aromatics in here with those hops, all those different flavors that you're getting, that if you drink it out of the right type of glass, just of course enhances the experience that much more. But I thought that was interesting that this one in particular, they recommend a snifter, which really would normally only be like for 8% or higher ABV.
I think
beer.
we need snifters.
Yeah,
So
we're
just to try
getting
to
a
have you
pretty
had-
good some comments
I'm
about
looking
people's.
at that. Yeah,
We'll have to go over that here in a little bit.
yeah, we'll talk about that. We got people
I like
chiming in whether or not they like can or bottle, so
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Hey, and it's like you said, Keith, it's not a right or a wrong, just total preference. You never.
Right.
Sure.
My brain wants to like bottles. I enjoy the experience of holding the bottle and drinking out of the glass much better. But if I'm really being critical, like I say, can poured into a glass is definitely a better experience overall
Mm.
Right.
for me.
No, you're right. I just love the word long neck.
Long neck bottle.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many songs written about long necks.
Well, I think we need to get that on the books. We need to make that a plan. We'll do an episode where we compare
Cans
cans
to
to
bottles.
bottles
And
on,
let's do
on certain
taste
ones,
tests
and
and
we'll
stuff. That'd
we'll
be
let
cool.
Jeff pick them, and we'll do an episode out of it. What do you think, Jeff?
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm always down for that. You had me at drinking beer.
Us too.
Uh,
Well, cool.
always a pleasure. So when's your next
Yeah, no.
episode coming out? Have you got that
Oh, I
planned
don't
yet?
know. It's so just
He's been
Maybe it'll be
drinking
with
beer.
us then. So maybe your next episode
very
will
well
be with
could
us.
be.
So.
I've got the beers all lined up in my mini fridge, ready to go. I know exactly who my guests are going to be. It's just getting people over here safely, getting outside, trying to, again, I've got that newborn at home. I have to be very serious with this COVID stuff, if I
Right,
like it or not. And it is. And I don't mean to go down a rant. I am taking
No.
But
Go.
It just makes it tough not being around friends and family like
It
you
sucks.
want to, and
Yep.
horrible.
filming my episodes the way I'd like to.
Yeah.
Just wait till November. We'll be back to normal.
Hopefully.
I hope so. If that's what it takes, whatever.
Well,
You said that in March.
I know. We'll see what happens. So, do you have any ideas what we're going to do for next week? Any thoughts?
We talked about the whole Budweiser, Coors, Miller. Do we want to do a taste test with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, you know what I'm hoping for, and we need to ask our viewers and all that to really help us reach that 500. So, I mean, we were just what?
Get that
We're like-
Budweiser, Budvar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
39. I
still
think we were
looks good.
39 away
39
last
away.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if we can get to that,
Which
I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, I cut you off.
No, I just said if we can get to that 500, then we'll do the Budweiser theme on that one because Tim will drink the 13-year-old Budweiser, and then we
So-
could do the fresh Budweiser compared to.
10-year-old Budweiser.
No, I think
Well, I don't think we'll compare them. Well,
I like
I'm
that.
not going to try
Yeah,
that
let's hold
13-year-old
off
one.
on that Budweiser, Coors, Miller. We'll hold off to the Budvar episode as well, which
Well-
I did a bunch of research on that for you, Tim. You clearly already know a lot about it, but it was an interesting story. So that's a whole other episode, but I did look into about that brewery a lot. And it's very interesting what's gone on with that over the past several hundred years.
awesome. That is so cool. I'm so glad you know. I knew at one point, but I've forgotten a lot of it. But I knew there was a really, really good story behind it.
No,
Well,
it's a fun one. So
Yep, pressure's on now.
So
I
that was-
have a lot of faith because we have some awesome listeners and awesome followers.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of faith we're going to hit 500 by next week.
and nobody's going to get really upset when I lose it after drinking the beer.
You're going to be sitting. You're going to be
I'm
sitting
gonna sit
right
over
here
with a bucket. No,
Yes.
it'll
Yeah.
be.
You'll be sitting on
fine.
the end.
Exactly.
Jeff, tell him it's going to be fine.
He's not going to say nothing.
He's going to tell you it'll be fine. This is a European beer. I mean, there's no preservatives or anything in it, but it won't have it's not drinking an old Lone Star.
yeah, you're not going to get sick. Like,
No.
yeah, there's nothing in there that's going to hurt you other
No.
than your taste buds. You still may vomit, but not because you got bugs in your gut.
Oh, thank you for the word of advice, encouragement.
That does not make me feel warm and cozy.
you know what?
And
I
I put that
disagree.
as tactfully as I could.
No. Listen, I've had a lot of old beers. Not this old. This is 2006. And we came up with that the other day. We figured that out.
Yeah.
So it's 14 years old.
Yeah, that's
But
Crazy.
I have faith in this beer because I drank so much when I was over there. I just really don't see it being that much different. I don't.
After 13 years.
I don't.
It'll be interesting. I
It
don't
looks
know.
the same as it did
Yeah.
the day I bought it.
A Mickey Big Mouth after a year was terrible.
Well, I know that's an American screw up. But no, I can't wait, and I can't wait to hear the history of the Budweiser that I've forgotten. But it's a good story.
It really is a good
It's
story.
a great story. So I can't wait for that.
so. I would say, Jeff,
Stay tuned.
let's have one on backup, and we'll make a decision Monday night what we're doing. So hopefully we'll reach 500 by Monday
We'll
night,
do that.
and
We'll
we'll
do
be
that.
happy, and we can do the Budweiser. If not,
Cool.
let's have something on standby.
Yeah, yep. We'll talk offline. If you guys have some ideas, you let me know. But I can definitely come up with another beer if you'd like me to.
All right,
All right.
sounds like a plan.
Again.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I always have a good time talking to you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Oh, we love it.
We appreciate it.
Yes. So check out Jeff Stay's Blind Beer Taste Test YouTube channel.
Yep.
And subscribe. Of course.
You owe me a beer.
Because you said subscribe at the same
No,
time.
well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
What that means?
Get the man a beer.
Get the man a beer. No, really, Jeff, thank you so much.
Yes,
you're
thank
just like, it's so much information that I'm sure people enjoy, because you can't learn this just anywhere.
No.
I mean, and you're evidently a connoisseur, and we just really appreciate you. It's the education for me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for falling for the charade I'm putting on here. I appreciate it.
Our listeners love it, so we keep it up.
I'll send you that check.
Right on. No, really, I have a good time, guys. It's awesome.
Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, Jeff, we'll talk to
Next
you.
week.
Have a good night.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Oh, remind me, I had to send him a check.
Wow. Got lots of people on. I really like it.
I got to give a shout out to Glam Bunny because
Hey, Glam.
it is 3 a.m. where
It's
she's
3
at.
a.m. I must be lonely. Little Matchbox 20, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
So,
Yeah.
yes, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. And Mike,
And of course, we have to do
what?
our number one viewer that's always on every week.
Give me a...
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Hold on, refresh my memory.
Okay. Here we go.
Got it.
Here goes the surprise.
Wendy.
This will be 4 to get the right.
Said 3 or 4.
I know.
Whatever.
All right. Here we go. All together. Wendy's
got a gun.
Okay.
That was awful.
That was awful for sure.
Wendy's got a gun.
I was going to.
Wendy's got a hangover.
Sounds like we've been drinking beer.
Wendy's got a beer.
No, Mike was wondering where Julie was, and I just wanted to say that Julie's going to have her own episode here soon when we have her big reveal.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is that because you got her backstory and you're afraid to bring her out tonight? Is that?
We're holding back.
All right.
We're holding back until the big story, and then we'll bring her back.
Because Lindsay did get her backstory.
Yep.
And it's, you haven't, no, you haven't
Nope.
cheated, right? Okay,
Nope.
good. All right.
Nope. I
I'm
can't
just
wait
gonna
to hear about it.
I'm just going to keep playing stupid.
So, well, you know about it?
Because he doesn't remember last week's episode.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
We can sing Glam Bunny usually, but not. We don't have instruments in front of us, so it's don't let that be your. How you
So
judge
I
us.
see that Mabel is still at the Shannon airport. So she must be in quarantine.
Or bad weather.
I don't know. I take it Shannon Airport must be in Ireland somewhere.
Shannon is in Ireland.
Okay.
Wow, it's still over there. Good Lord.
It didn't leave the state. Well, when I sent her stuff, and she finally got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. Because I mailed it on June 4th, and it was on July 4th that I tracked it, and it had just barely left Los Angeles after a month. So they held it in quarantine for a month, and then they held it in, it was in Belfast, I think, for ever. So I don't know.
Then you
don't-
have your tear-ups.
You don't think she messed up the airport, do you?
She's
Yeah, Mabel screw things up.
taking her sweet time getting here.
I don't know. I'm starting to get worried. It's like,
I wouldn't be too worried.
I'll try not to be.
It'll be fun.
So, do you want to go through your shout outs, Joe?
Yeah, I'd like to do the shout outs early because we have so many. And I know there's a new one I need to add that's not on this list. So I will pull it up here just because I don't want to miss it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Aha, there we go. Okay. So our flying shout outs for this evening. So our Twitter crew. Twitter crew. Oh boy. Okay. 303 TV, B-Balm Traveler, Beyond the Veil, Voodoo Man 3, Craig Layton 07, Bunny Tube 1, Drink Drunk Dead, A. Brooksy, SCPRA, I think that's
Maybe
it's a word.
We need to know what that means.
I know. One. Crew Films, Ghost Quest USA, Backroad Haunts, PL Explorer, South Cac Dustin, South Cac Lisa, Ohio Haunted, Faces Fear, Operation Ghost, Hansley Paranormal 1, Holly Fogel 1, Want to Believe You, David Sandaro, Alamo City Horror 1, Searching Series, Ben's Natalie, Exploring Spook, White Apache, Major Caro, Icarus 42073, Hissing Pussy, Esau.
There's a dirty
Stop
one.
it!
I like the dirty one.
Esau 1969, EP Houston Bill, Heroes Do Exist 66, Christine Comedy, Lisa Kane's 841, Irish Lad 444, the CK Buchanan, and the new one is, and we're gonna have to check these guys out. It's Basic of Paranormal Investigating.
Huh.
That's pretty basic.
That's pretty basic. I like it. And then our podcast people. These are the ones that have a really hard time reading. If you thought I was screwing up on the first one.
You should try the Instagram ones.
Live with Big Bruh. Big Bruh. I like that. Reverie Crime Pod. Kazoo Killers Pod. I had to think about them a little bit. TFC Pod. Yellow Crime Pod. Drep and Stone. Drink Drunk Dead again. I know she's on here twice. Michelle wrote that. I know she's on here twice. DKO Pod, BFW Pod Squad, but it was aliens.
Yeah,
I like that. Okay. The Spirit Show, TCP, State of Fear Podcast, Weird Distracty one? Okay. Oh, I hate screwing these up. FDS Podcast 7, Pod Tips, Student Verdict, TBF Pod, TDFD Pod, Belgian Waffle Egg, Truth and Scare,
I like that one.
Study Scarlet Pod, Whatcast, Whites on Pod, Masculinity Pod, Dumb Breastless Pod.
I'm restless.
Restless or breastless?
Yeah, Booed and Brood. Be Nostalgic, Pod Movie, and the Outer Verse PC. Unpredictable Us, the BSC Podcast, SKT Podcast, or STK.
Skitty Podcast.
Okay.
Cost.
SKT
Povcast.
Povcast.
We need some more dirty ones.
I'm sure we'll get more.
Hey, you know,
We can make up our own.
If,
I know it
if,
probably
if
sound like
all
I was
these
making
guys
one.
would send in and tell us how you got your names, that'd be really, really, really cool.
I know nobody's done that yet.
No.
That'd be really cool.
Uh-oh. Now I lost my place. But
Thank you guys, man. That's a lot of people.
yeah. And, you know, I've been watching a lot more of everybody else's stuff, and I really like it. There's some really good paranormal evidence out there from all of our para family.
And this is really, really growing. I mean, huge. Because we're all out of work. We're all in quarantine. There's nothing else to do but look for ghosts. No, I'm kidding. No, really, really. I love the field is growing, and I appreciate everyone that's getting into it. And it's a commitment, and you got to have the heart and the drive and the determination, and it's, you know, it's a good family.
We have an
Awesome
Glad to be
family.
a part of it.
Joey and I said at the same time. It's an awesome family.
Drink.
So let's bring on tonight's guest, shall we?
Okay.
So I know, Joey, you've watched their videos. I've watched
have.
their videos.
I have.
You have too, Tim, right?
Yeah.
So we've got Longhorn Paranormal coming on tonight with us. And they're kind of scattered all over the country. so it'll be good. It'll be interesting to see how they got started and where they're heading. So shall we do it?
You're starting
Let's
to talk
do
like
it.
a Texan just
Yeah,
because
am
you
I?
said Longhorn.
Longhorn.
I'm
Heard
from,
that
I'm from New York.
accent
Don't
come
imagine
out.
that.
I'm from Texas, so don't expect my accent not to come out.
All right, we're going to call Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
Are you going to keep the ringy dingy on, or what are we doing there?
Well, let's see how annoying the ringy dingy is.
Okay,
Leave the ringy
shouldn't be
dingy.
too bad.
All right.
All right, we're
I'll
calling
leave it.
now.
I'll leave it unmuted.
No, it's ringing.
There we go.
Oh, it's a nice ringy dingy. Wow. Hello there.
Hello.
That was
Hey.
quick.
Hello.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good. We
Hey there.
I think that was the quickest anybody's ever picked up.
Well, it was one ringy dingy.
I didn't hear a ringy or a dingy.
No, it did. It
Oh, I
right.
did ringy. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great.
We're drinking beer. We're good.
Are you drinking beer with us?
We are not. We not
That's okay.
the other night. And
That's all right.
might be drinking beer.
It's all right.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of working today. So
Oh,
Ah,
okay. Well, I know our listeners are really excited to learn about you guys. So why don't I'll give you the floor. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. And I know you got some other folks on the line with your team. So let's,
yeah, and introduce the rest of your team as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah.
It'd be cool.
So,
Okay.
go ahead. So we have Steven, who is kind of our all-around creative genius, and then we have Kim in Chicago right now, and Kim is kind of works our nerve center, goes out and investigates, and then we have Ryan, who's not here with us tonight, and is actually a full-time officer, and he's actually having to work with COVID and everything going on right now, so he kind of joins us every now and then, and he's so Ryan's currently in Texas and Kim's in Chicago, and so we're a team of four. We have a couple affiliated partners, but tonight it's Steven, Kim, and myself.
Awesome. Welcome.
cool.
Thank you,
Very
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
And the one that's working tonight, thank you for your service.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So how did you guys, I mean, obviously you're scattered all about. How did you guys come together as a team?
So kind of funny. Kim and I are actually best friends. She's like a second mom to me, and it makes me feel old. I've been doing this about 20 years, and when COVID came about, I said to them, we were looking for something to do. I mean, everybody's cooped up in the house, and I said, hey, why don't we start this team? I have some gear. Let's put on a free show for everyone who's stuck at home and looking for something new to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Kim, one of my best friends, background in marketing, and her brother, Steven, who has 20-something years in production and non-air personality and all that. I said, hey, we all have a little bit of expertise that we can bring to this team. And I think we can do something really professional, something really different, kind of change the pace from what the status quo has been. And that's been kind of in the general feedback of this is very refreshing, it's very new, it's very different. Not everybody's putting rock and roll in their paranormal videos.
Right.
And so we just kind of hit the road. We said, we had some other things going on in the background, some family things that, we're all dealing with. And so we were together and we said, let's hit the road and do this. And so I started making phone calls. I said, hey, I'm Jen Stoller. I'm starting the show. And it's literally just kind of exploded in our face. We went from no sponsors, no backers, no fans to over 3 million every 90 days now. And so that's kind of how this came to be. But, I've been doing it 20 years, but we all have our specialties. And that has really kind of propelled us to where we are now.
Right. So what got you involved 20 years ago?
So I was one of the kids. I love the paranormal. I grew up watching horror flicks. I love anything to do with that stuff. I actually, when I was growing up as a kid, I used to do Halloween decorating contests. I was in the news, the paper, won all kinds of cool awards back home. Like the craziest, coolest haunted house, in the front yard kind of thing. But I actually, we're all from Chicago originally. We're spread out across the country now. But I had snuck off at about 16 to a place called Manteno State Hospital with a friend of mine. And give a shout out to Doug Colgrove, EVP Extreme Vision Paranormal. So Doug and I went out to Manteno State Hospital, big 20 plus building sprawling facility that was a mental hospital, alcohol hospital, drug rehabilitation. They did the lobotomies and all that stuff there. Oh, wow. And we snuck in. And here I am, and I openly admit it, like, looking back, I was 16. Went right past the no trespassing sign. We've all been there.
No.
Yeah. And I had a profound experience while I was there that I still don't really talk about to this day.
Can you talk about it?
I thought,
just say no.
So, I'm going to preference. I'll give a little bit, but I'll preference it with this. If Netflix called me tomorrow and said, we'll pay you $1 million to go in there, I would tell them no.
Right.
And I craziest school a ton of places all across country. But I had a experience with a full body apparition. We'll leave it at that. And it, not only did it happen, but it followed me home, and it got pastors and priests involved. We had a priest show up to my mom and dad's house. It was bad enough. It was one of those things where you go home and tell your mom at 16, hey, Mom, I committed a crime. I trespassed, and this is what I did, and this is what I saw. Normally you don't rat yourself out, but right. I did. So we had a priest show up to the house. He took one step into the house, said, sorry, I can't help you, and he left. So whatever I brought home with me was not good.
Wow.
And that's about as far as I'll go.
That's fine. That's fine. Really, that was a tease, and we appreciate that. I mean, really.
Yeah. I had a very profound experience there, and it scared the crap out of me, and it forever altered what I was that young kid. Oh, this is all a hoax. Well, let me tell you, the spirits at Manteno State Hospital surely told me that it was not a hoax.
Yeah.
And I'll walk into Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I spent a night at Jerome Grand Hotel, Joliet Prison. I'll go into any of these places, but I will never go back to Manteno State Hospital.
Wow. Well, thank you. I didn't mean to push you that far, but I appreciate you sharing that with us.
For sure. Absolutely. So that's kind of how I got started in this 20 years ago, was that experience forever changed me. And I started a team. It started as the Chicagoland Paranormal Foundation. And after I went to the armed forces, I kind of shut that team down to serve my military career. And then after I got out, I started dibbling and dabbling in it again.
That question always fascinates me because I love asking it, because there always seems to be a commonality between people who do this, who have a passion for it. There's either they've always been fascinated by it, or something has happened to them personally.
One time.
Right. That gets them involved in this. So I love asking that question. I think it's great. Members of your team, when you call them, say, hey, I'm putting this thing together, you guys want to come on board with us? Was anybody like skeptical from the beginning? Like, yeah, well, I'm good friends with you, so we'll help you out, but I don't believe in any of this shit's real. I mean, did that happen at the beginning, or?
Steven's a skeptic.
Yeah. I have to talk to him. Even today, he's still a skeptic.
I'm still a science guy.
Yeah, I'm very much the science guy. I'm very much the equipment guy.
Right.
No, I'm going to prove. And what's that little shadow walking across the screen? That's light, right? That's reflecting light. That's not an apparition, right? We've got to debunk it.
Right.
So were you the skeptic?
Yeah.
He is a skeptic. Still.
All right.
Yeah.
You still?
Still.
Yeah.
Bless
to
your
some
heart.
degree, try to come up with how can we explain this?
Right.
How
right.
is this?
Totally. Well, you know what? You need both sides. That's what makes it credible.
Yeah, and so, for us, like, having the experience that I have, having somebody like Steven is awesome, because I'm the first one. So, like, I love to be transparent with our viewers. We actually, when we first kicked this thing off, we did a 2-3 hour live stream where we literally went through all the gear we had, and now we've got over 30 cases of gear that we haul around, still with no sponsors. Kind of funny watching us try to pack 30 hard cases of gear into a Subaru and a F-150.
She's saying gear or beer?
Gear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sure.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, 30 cases a year. We have, the black hard cases. Everything's in a foam insert. Not that kind of foam.
Yeah.
I heard foam. I heard beer. I got confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we started calling orbs
I'm kind of
suds.
your-
So, that's,
Orbs or
I'm kind
suds.
of your
Yeah.
in between. This is Ken. So I do the marketing and the social media and stuff like that, as well as ghosts don't really touch me or anything. So I pretty much man the nerve center. But how I got started was my dad had passed away, and that's why I was in Arizona. And my phone was blowing up from friends calling and stuff. And Jen kidnapped me for the day and made me leave my phone at home in Arizona. And she drove me to Jerome, Arizona.
Holy cow.
And we
Been there.
walked into the lobby of the Jerome Grand
The
Hotel. And I took one look around and I said, John, we're staying here tonight.
Yeah. I did the same thing.
There was just something I felt. We hadn't packed clothes or a toothbrush or anything. We were just doing a day trip. And oh my God, I was just fell in love with that place. It's like my monthly medicine now. I have to go there one night a month.
No.
And
My wife and I worked in there. It was totally the same. We're like,
we had no equipment or anything with us. And it was off season because it was January. So very off season for Jerome. It's a little chilly up there then. And the only tool we had was Jen's phone. And she had an app that was an Ovilus that has 9,000 words in its dictionary and stuff. And the intelligent conversations that we had with some of the over 9,000 people that have died when it was a hospital and a hotel. Oh my gosh, the intelligent conversations we had through the Ovilus were insane. Absolutely insane.
one of my favorite places I've ever been.
mine too.
I have yet to go.
Room 16.
So now that you got involved with it and you had that first experience, did that open you up now to more? I mean, you experience something
I'm
every
hooked.
time you go?
I am hooked.
Yeah.
We are all about helping people and educating people about what paranormal is, the different types of spirits, the different types of equipment and technology that's available now. So we're all about educating people about, what are the haunted places in your state that you can check out? Here they are.
We did a couple of things that are a little different. So I actually grew up down the street from the likings of Zach Bagan from Ghost Adventures from Glen Ellen. I'm from Naperville. And we looked at a lot of what these guys were doing on these big household shows. Everybody's got this pipe dream. Oh, I want a paranormal show. But we really wanted to do something that kind of put us on the map and separated us. And we made some lists. We said, this is what everyone else does, and this is what they don't do, and we're going to do what they don't do. So when we created like our website, for example, we have an education tab where you can go and look up paranormal terminology. You can go up, look types of spirituality, hauntings, all that stuff. And I've done a lot of research and education into that. And I actually almost, it's funny, the team was watching me create the page and I'm writing it, most of it from memory.
Right.
And, but that was really important to us that we do that. And then we went and created, we're actually in the process of creating an interactive map right now, but we created lists of all kinds of haunted places across the country. And we, everybody, I want to have a scared Friday night. Well, let's give people a list of places that they can go check out in their own backyard.
Right.
And we kind of prerequisite that with, the warnings of, hey, understand these places are private property. You need to make sure you have permission. So we have disclaimers on our website. But we wanted to do a lot of things that folks weren't doing. Down to, when you guys called us, reached out to us, we have a marketing team, right? We have a marketing person, but it's important to me that we handle those calls alone. When somebody shares one of our videos or we make it personal. So a guy earlier today shared one of our posts, and I said, "Thank you for sharing Raul." We put their name in there. We've tried ways to really connect with our people down to our equipment, right? So when we first kicked this thing off, we actually did a live stream where we went through a lot of the equipment we had, and we said, okay, this is a thermometer. You can buy it for $34.99 at Harbor Freight. The old adage is, and we all know it, oh, this is a hoax, so this is a setup or whatever. We're real quick to tell people and be very transparent with what we have and what we're doing, down to when we filmed at the Gila County Jail. I had a little red block thrown at me from the Cultural Arts Center, and there's a string attached to it. And I noticed the first thing someone was going to say is, oh, look, there's a string. They engineered this. So in that episode, we made it a point to say, hey, look, the string's only a foot and a half long. We brought in professionals, right? We brought in Tom Foster, who's a local historian. And, we wanted to have people there that would validate in the moment what we're doing instead of the old, oh, this is so fake. So we actually just filmed Sunday night in Huntsville, Texas. Get some folks hyped up. Everybody's heard of Martha's Chapel. We were there. We kind of kept it very hush-hush, which is not something we normally do. But again, we had local law enforcement there. We had people there with us to kind of bring some validation to what we're doing. So for us, that is that has really been a game changer, I think, for a lot of folks who are watching us, is to see the kind of transparency we bring. And then, we run into folks like Tom Foster, who, I can't believe you guys don't have sponsors. I can't believe you guys don't have funding. And they start realizing, it's the old, oh, you've got a big camera crew. No, there's 5 of us. Right. We do our own setup, 10,000, 20,000 plus a year. And we're putting in all the manual labor ourselves. Right. And, we have 2 gear stores. We sold 1 shirt. We have a donate page. We have never, ever raised a dime from that donate page. But we continue to drive on, and we continue to make those connections because those things are stupid important to us. We actually worked with Cave, a private client, and he gave me permission to discuss this. So, but we had a guy, and borders mean nothing to us. We had a guy from Mexico call us and say, hey, I have had this photo for 20 years, and I think it's haunting me. We literally helped a guy from frickin' Mexico with a haunting, and here we are in the United States. Right. And that, that was, so we're always trying to find ways to do things differently than the way everybody else has.
That's awesome. That's very cool. I know one of
we
the...
don't charge people that we help like that. Like, it turned out that there was a little girl, 5 years old, trapped in that photograph.
Oh, wow.
And that's why it was haunting him. And we were able to bring a medium in, and she was able to, and I was there. I can't see these spirits, but boy, the dog sure did. Looking that girl right in the eyes. And the medium was able to bring some of her friends from the other side to help this little girl pass over. And you could feel the positive energy in the room because she was so euphorically happy that she finally, after 100 years, got to be reunited with her mom and her sister.
Holy cow.
It's about closure. It's closure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's therapy and it's everything. That's just incredible. So when these guys asked me to start getting into this, it wasn't about, oh, this is going to be cool, we're going to be famous or anything. It was about,
what do you mean?
I want to help everybody that has that problem. There should be a PTSD phobia for people that have had paranormal experiences. There probably is, right?
That's us. It's what we do.
So, it's not so much about, the recognition. It's about helping people, because there are so many people that have these haunted, just nightmarish memories that just cannot get over it. And if I can help them get past that and move on and everything, that's what it is for me. That's what I want to accomplish. I mean,
and hopefully
I like
I'll
the
do
other
that
stuff.
together as a we.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Did I say I?
You did.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Suds wants to help everybody get through that. I mean, I'm serious. I think it's more of a therapy and a counseling and a healing than it is just a fun game or a exploration. We're here to help other people, and we're here to find the spirits who are in this world that have not moved on. We're helping them to move on to their final resting places, because there's so many that are stuck here.
Yeah.
And we've done that already. We already know that.
Yeah.
And if I get nothing else except that out of that makes me completely happy.
You know, I think a point you brought up earlier, Jennifer, was, and I always go back to this on our episodes, because we always talk about, you know, the big paranormal shows on TV and everything. And I don't think anybody starts out the way they end up. I think what happens is you get hooked on these networks. It becomes just about ratings. They have to get ratings. They have to have people watching. And I think a lot of people get sidetracked. I don't think, you know, I think a lot of these groups start out wanting to help people, but they end up with the fame and everything, and it kind of sidestep them to a different direction. Would you agree with that, or?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at, I think, let me pre-reference this. So I think, you know, right now we're in a position where we actually have a couple networks who are looking at us, and I certainly don't want to shoot our team in the foot by any means, but I think that they're just in general with any amount of television, and some folks I've spoke to. So we filmed at Vulture City, and Jay Yates there. A lot of folks know who he is. He's had his, you know, time in the sun here and there on Travel Channel. And I've noticed it's either hit or miss, right? You have some folks who certainly, they get caught up in the fame and the ratings, and then you have folks that truly are there no matter what for the paranormal, and certainly for the history and the facts. And again, I think to some degree you're absolutely right, but I've seen both sides of the fence. You know, there are folks that are really impressed with what other folks do, and then there's some other folks who see money and they, you know, they fly off the rails. And that's something that, you know, I try to work with our team on regularly. You know, certainly for us, you know, okay, cool. We have a production agency who's saying, hey, we like you, we're interested in you. But at the end of the day, I adamantly with the team constantly work on this theory of giving back, right? So we filmed at the Domes in Casa Grande, and the guy that owns the Domes is an older gentleman. The site's been trashed by looters and squatters, and so Stephen and I, the day after we filmed our Domes episode, actually went back there with several bags of trash, and we went there with, I think it was 5 bags, and we filled these bags up with trash that was on the site, and it was really important to us that we leave it better than we found it. And I say that for, you know, because it's relevant. There are folks in this community who absolutely will leave it better than they found it. And then there are folks who literally just want the attention. And I think that site is a great example of that, because you have professional sets that literally left sets at the Domes. Like, oh, we don't need this anymore. We're just going to trash it and leave it on the site. And it was still there when we were there.
Wow.
And I asked the guy who owns it, Dan Pierre, he says, how long has it been there? He says, well, it's been 2 years. They haven't come back to get it. And I just thought to myself, how disrespectful. You know, well, they paid money to be here. Well, yeah, you know what? We paid money to be here too. So yeah, I think to some degree, you know, there are folks that will sell out for sure. But I also think that there are some folks that certainly are in it for history. You know, a good example of that is when we filmed in Huntsville on Sunday. We actually did an interview with a guy. He was showing us a lot of historical facts, and he didn't want to be on camera or audio for this interview. And for Stephen and I, that was very, very frustrating, because yes, the haunting part is cool, the ghost hunting part is cool, but the history was more important to us. And you know, same thing with when we filmed at Gila County Jail. God forbid, you know, we pride ourselves on not being politics related here, but we filmed Steele County Jail, and in one of the jail cells, there's a Confederate flag painted in the cell. The first thing we did was get on the phone with Molly, who's kind of runs that show over there. We said, "Hey, Molly, we're getting ready to drop our full episode, and we noticed there's this Confederate flag right behind Kelly. And if you want us to go back and scrub our entire episode and rebuild it without that in there, we'll do it." But there are groups that they don't care. They just want the exposure, and they're going to put it out there, and they want the ratings, and let's get it out and get it out now. And then you have folks that actually take time to think about the little details. So I think there's pieces to both sides, if that helps.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. You know what? Since you mentioned the Healy County Jail, I have to bring this up because I think Joey knows what I'm going to say. So, I guess I'm the big skeptic in the group. Would you say I'm still the skeptic?
Yeah, I would say so.
So the last time we went out there, we saw the same shadow figure that you guys saw.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up
Right.
too. Yeah,
And
so it was kind of like a validation for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When we watched your episode, we were like, "Oh my God,
It was
that's
the same area.
place."
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. This is Kim. I was locked in solitary confinement by myself. Well, of course, solitary confinement. And for an hour. Jen locked me in the room and nothing happened. I was so mixed by that. But like I said, the ghosts don't always reach out to me, or I don't know. So that's why I usually run the nurse center. But I've had my own experiences sitting at the nurse center.
I was there 5 minutes, and I had my camera almost knocked off my gimbal twice in 5 minutes. It was like, "No, you're not filming it here." Whack.
Mm-hmm. And I actually, we usually start working on these episodes about 3-4 days in advance. So a lot of times what happens is you'll see us start PRing it. "Hey, we're headed there," but we're actually already there. And I'm sure that's no surprise to a lot of folks. But
Right.
We had gone to shoot some B-roll, and I'm just walking through the second floor tank on the backside where the apparition of Jenny has been seen by so many people photographed. And I got scratched, and I got the very, very distinctive 3 scratch marks on my inner thigh. Everybody talks about 3 scratch marks, and
Right.
that was the first one that has never, ever happened. And, a lot of people have messaged me and said, "Oh, that's a load of crap." And I'm like, well, if you look at the episode and you look at the information that was put out, I was actually wearing pants,
Yep.
and I still have a scar. It cut
Wow.
me so deep.
Wow.
And that for me was really surreal, because when we were going into film Gila County, Molly and Tom and all of them, they said, "Man, you will have an experience here." And then, it was just really strange because they picked, who they wanted to interact with. And Kim, just no experiences at all. And, Stephen and I, I had things thrown at me, and I'm more of the instigator of the team.
Mhm.
If I know it's there and it's kind of hiding from me, I always try to be, respectful at the kind of the front. "Hey, I'm here." But, I'm definitely the one that, for lack of a better term, balls to the walls, is going to go and call something out in 2 seconds.
Right.
If I know it's, with me. What, Stephen?
Jen poked him with a stick.
Yeah, very much. But for each of us to have those very different experiences, like you're saying, Kim, who I lock her in solitary confinement for an hour and nothing happens.
Yep.
And then Stephen makes it in the door and his camera literally gets knocked over.
Yep. Yeah, we can attest to the fact that it's not a bunch of bull about the scratches, because we've had a few team members also get scratched, and it's definitely interesting when it happens.
It is. And it takes a
Yeah, I
while for that
think
scratch
Jen-
to go away.
Yeah.
Right? Jen's former Army, right? She's a veteran, badass girl, right? And we were in Culture City, Rose Town, and we were in this little church, and I watched her get punched in the stomach by a spirit and dropped to her knees.
Wow.
I mean, it was insane. She and I both got like queasy stomachs first, but they didn't punch me. They punched her. And I've never seen her drop to her knees like that for anything. I mean, it was insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and what was really interesting about that is, so like Jay was there, and Jay says, "Oh yeah, I go out and I give these tours," and it was after the fact, so I had no clue. And Jay says, right on camera, he says, "Hey, I always get a really funny feeling in my stomach or something when I'm standing there," and it was after the fact. And like for me, that was like legitimate. I mean, I was incapacitated for a good 10 or 15 minutes where I was just literally sitting on the ground. I had literally felt like, so we're standing in the chapel and I started to like feel this pain in my stomach. And then it was almost like somebody like just reached up in front, like Chuck Norris kicked me right in the stomach. And I like keeled over and grabbed my stomach. I almost dropped my camera, and I could not believe that, like, I had no doubt in my mind something had just kicked me.
Right. That's crazy.
But I tend to push that boundary that a lot of folks don't.
Right.
Vulture City's another great example. I went down to where they used to keep the gold. Most people wouldn't do that. And Jay Yates even said, "Man, I'm not brave enough. I would never go down there. I've never been down there." I will absolutely do those things. They don't like women upstairs where in the SA office. If you're a woman and you go up there, you're likely to get attacked. All right, beautiful. I'm headed up there and doing it alone.
Yeah, and we both go up there, and the voice box done. What's that thing called?
The spirit box?
I don't know.
The echo box.
It started saying very clearly, "Kim, Kim, Kim," and then it said, "Push Kim, push Kim." Then Jay yelled upstairs. He's like, "Hey, is one of you guys named Kim?" I was like, "Oh," and I could hear it.
Yeah, you were using the Necrophonic app, right, on that?
Yeah.
And actually,
I downloaded that today.
I'm sorry?
So I downloaded that one today.
Yeah, and so it's actually, according to Jay, it was created by a guy, and it's actually considered scientifically validated. He says it's one of the few he considers to be valid for a phone app. But, speaking of the validity of that app, we were at Jerome Gardens Hotel, and a lot of people don't know it, but I actually wear hearing aids bilaterally in both ears. I lost a lot of hearing in the military. I'm actually illegally deaf. Before you wait, how are you talking to me on the phone? I have an interpreter who's interpreting our phone call right now, which is kind of cool. I don't hear so good. And so sometimes I talk funny. I can't hear enunciations or pronounce, things being pronounced. And so we were at Jerome Gardens Hotel, and we were investigating the old psych room that was specifically for a girl named Gerthy. Now, at the time we were in there, I kept saying Gothry. I literally was pronouncing it wrong because I didn't know that I was.
Right.
And the necrophonics actually comes through. I said, "Who's here with me?" And it comes through. And they told me after the fact, Stephen wrote it down on a piece of paper how it's supposed to be pronounced. And comes through crystal clear on necrophonics, the spirit actually correcting me and saying Gerthy,
wow.
saying the name.
You're saying it on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was saying, "Guthrie, where are you? Guthrie, are you here with us?" And Gerthy got pissed. Like,
You're saying my name
You
wrong.
say it wrong, damn it. I'm actually excited to use that app now.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome because here it is. I can't even hear myself talk.
Right.
When we build our episodes, we do a lot of voice editing modifications. Sometimes I have a bit of a speech impediment, and how tired I am, and so we make a lot of changes. And so people don't notice that. but the crew does, because they'll be walking behind me and they'll be like, Jen, Jen, Jen. And they're like, oh, she can't hear us. I hide it really well because I can hear it till I was 25. But, you know, to have the necrophonic system say Guthrie while I'm doing, you know, the investigation, I'm saying Guthrie. And, you know, like that was very, I mean, in my mind, that was a validating moment of this application software.
Right. That's
because
crazy.
I knew the right word and I was saying the wrong word.
We've had similar luck. You know, we use the Ghost Tube quite a bit, and we kind of grown fond of that app. And I was real skeptical about it at first too. Kind of like Steven probably thought, you know, it's an app. How reliable can it be? But we've gone on a couple investigations where what it spit back was pretty relevant to what was going on. So,
all right. So I had a theory about that when we were in that the graveyard, and we kept hearing these words, and it's my opinion. Yeah, correct me. I mean, it's a theory. It's my opinion that sometimes there are words that are not in the vocabulary of the application. And for a lack of a better word, they say things that are close to what they mean, but they're not actually what they mean. So you may get basement by mistake. And they could be trying to say something. You know what I'm talking about? When you get words and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. I think for transition or transformation or for translation purposes, some words come across and we hear them and they say Undertaker, which that's not really what they meant to say. It was a different word, but for a lack of another word through the dictionary, that's how it came through. So you don't always take those words literally. You take them as, oh my gosh, all right, what were you trying to say? Because I believe they do communicate that way, but I don't believe they always have the actual
using modern
ability to
right.
So they're trying to communicate, but it comes across blacksmith. I'm like, what do you mean blacksmith? I think they're trying to say something else.
Yeah, like Kim got Jerome. That was really
oh my gosh. Yeah, when Jen and I were at the Jerome Hotel the first time, and we were up on the fourth floor. They were doing renovations, so there were no other guests on that floor. And I'd never been on a ghost investigation before, so I didn't know what was right or wrong. And Jen's getting mad. I'm touching everything. I'm trying to open every doorknob and all that. She's like, stop it. You're making spirits nervous. Anyway, so I'm also Catholic. So I had on my cross and I had my rosary in my hand. And I didn't have my phone because Jen made me leave it at home. So Jen had the Ovulus going, and that has like 9,000 words in its dictionary. And some really weird, like 6-syllable word comes out. It began with the letter O. That sound right, Jen? Anyway, something neither of us recognized or anything. So they had this big, fat-ass unabridged dictionary on a bookshelf. So I go whipping through it, and it turns out the word means someone Catholic praying with rosaries.
oh wow.
So it could be a synonym, or it could be another word for what they're trying to say, because that word doesn't exist.
But that was actually the
Actually,
word. They looked it up.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's
I don't
awesome.
even know how that word was even in the 9,000 word dictionary.
Well, I believe that. I totally, personally, I believe that. Walking through that cemetery, I got some really, really weird words, and I'm like, there's no way that's what you mean.
But that's happened a couple of times to us at different locations.
So
where
keep
we've
that in
been
mind
validated.
when you're investigating. Just because you hear a word, that's not necessarily what they're trying to say. That's been my experience. I'd like to hear more people's input and to hear what you guys think, because that could be very, very well. That could be true.
The phonics is cool because it doesn't use words; it uses phonics. So AEIOU, you know,
Sometimes so.
all those phonics terms, and makes words, names, stuff like that.
Exactly.
You're like, Really? Girthy is going to be in the dictionary that they're using?
Yeah, no way.
Right.
So I think
But
in
that's-
future, paranormal investigators need to understand that. When you go into a room and you hear, I hear basement, I hear
like,
drown, I hear all these things. That could be
something else
because of a lack of a better word that was not in the dictionary. Or
Right.
whatever.
I agree. Yeah, we've had some weird experiences like that along the way where, we've kind of had to, it's almost like, being a detective where you're having to connect the dots. We were filming at the Domes and we had that happen actually, where, was it Matthew, Stephen? I'm trying to remember. This name kept coming through on our audio and we're like,
Sam or Chris or
yeah, I think it was Sam.
Sam.
And it kept coming through, and we're like, who are we talking to? Sam. And we had a camera set up, and when we went back to do our review of our footage, that's when we realized behind us, really huge, spray painted on the wall was the name Sam. But in the dark, you could see it.
Right.
And
Wow.
I think it was trying to tell us that it was, either it was Sam or it was behind us or that it was there. But we didn't get the relevance in the moment.
Right,
And that's
right.
something, we as a team have been really working is to slow down in the moment.
Exactly.
We actually
Exactly.
done this now where we just stop any form of what you would consider commercial production. We did this in Gila, where we sent everyone into the jail. We sent everyone to different places, and we just had everyone sit there quietly and not talk, not do anything, but just let whatever was going to happen, whatever was going to come, just happen. Be observant of what's going on around you. And I'll tell you, it has enlightened us on some things that we never, ever thought were possible.
Yeah.
That's probably our favorite part when we do our investigations. Those we'd always do a quiet session at the end, and
Slowing down
there's
is
a
hard.
lot
though.
of stuff.
It's hard to slow down.
It is,
But when you do, it's such a reward.
So,
I didn't mean to slow down that much.
No, sorry, I couldn't see Joey. I was looking
We
at
all
Joey.
slowed down.
it's that hat. Huh?
So I'm going to ask you guys, before we let you go tonight, I'm going to ask you guys a question I ask everybody. Each of you, what is your favorite piece of equipment that you've come accustomed to that you really enjoy using? I'm always fascinated by these answers.
Jen knows I'm going to say the Ovilus.
yeah.
I like the gimbal. I'm like more than enthralled with the video quality we can shoot with a gimbal.
And I hate the gimbal because every time I get a gimbal, I swear the thing moves on its own and just spins around and I get nothing. So I hate the gimbal.
We're experimenting with
We're going
gimbals
through
right
that
now.
Right now. You have to take off a phone case. If you have a phone case, take it off. I know that for
Yes.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still going through the learning process too.
I'm going to be the kind of the theological. I don't know if that's the right word, but so we're all from Chicago, and
Bless your heart.
I am. Yeah.
Hey, it's even worse. All three of us are born in Rockford, Illinois.
Oh, wow.
Not getting into the politics of Illinois, God Almighty. I see one of y'all. I'm not sure which one you are, but I'm watching a live stream here while I chat. But one of y'all guys got a 2A head on. More power to you. I love the Second Amendment, baby. It's a wonderful thing. But I try not to get into politics with all of this. I'm a direct descendant of Al Capone. And I say that because it's relevant. That's not something I walk around and usually talk about. But I was filming at the Joliet prison, and this is when I was much younger. I was just in their parking lot outside the prison, and I just had a couple tripods, couple of cameras. This was back probably in 2008, 2007. It was some time ago. And talk about the ability to have a connection with the location, that you are related to someone who, a historical person like that was an inmate there. And I had no experience at all. Zero. Nothing happened. And I say that to say this. My favorite piece of equipment is whatever is validating in the moment. And the reason why I say that is because, I have tried to teach this team that you may have a piece of equipment that you really enjoy, but having options, meaning we have a starburst system, but we have it in 2 different colors now because you never know.
Right.
We have Fabulous, we have Necrophonics, we have multiple different tools to work with for a reason, because you may not get the same response out of something that you got last time at a different location. And so my favorite piece of equipment is whatever seems to be making whatever
That's a great
entity, whatever I'm engaging with.
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. I mean, we've had experiences like that where we tried to reproduce or recreate things that we experienced and it didn't happen. So you're right; it could be just the piece of equipment and not necessarily just a K2 or a mill or. Yep. That's very interesting.
Whatever equipment my spirit that I am trying to engage with is comfortable using the most is my favorite piece of equipment for that day.
And that's how I'm going forward.
Yeah, great answer. Right. That's awesome.
And sometimes it only works for one person.
Oh yeah, we know that.
Yeah, we've learned that.
We know that for a fact.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I really want to thank you for coming on tonight. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Sometimes the best thing are your eyeballs.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Or the hair on your arm. Yeah.
And then the camera stops recording, but I'm still seeing it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
the hair on your arm is a good indicator.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And please, everybody, check out Longhorn Paranormal Team's.
Yeah, they get some great videos.
Their YouTube page as well.
Can you give out your website, Jennifer, so people can go check you out?
Yeah, I'll actually drop it in the chat here.
Perfect.
We are longhornparanormal.com. We also have a gear store on Teespring and Bonfire. And we are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, MeWe, Allo. We are all over the place.
Instagram.
What's your Twitter handle?
At Longhorn Para.
At Longhorn Para?
At Longhorn Para.
Longhorn Para, yeah.
We're going to have to connect with you on Twitter, too.
Yeah.
So.
Our largest market by far is Facebook. We're based on our analytics, we're averaging about 2 to 3 million viewers per 90 days, which is, huge.
And we have over 15,000 fans on Facebook.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely our largest market. But I dropped our website in the chat there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you guys, keep doing what you're doing. Welcome to our Power family. We love having you on, and we'll definitely have you guys on again when you have some more episodes and get more experiences. I'd love to have you guys back on, and talk about it. That would be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure talking to all of you.
And Jennifer, thank you for your service. Absolutely.
You're very welcome.
All right, guys. Well, thank you. That's been Longhorn Paranormal, and we'll definitely be talking to you guys again. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's a
Yeah, I've been missing that a lot, haven't I?
No, it's just so cool to connect with these groups, and
it's education, man. It's like, this is not just a fad. This is
it's a pandemic.
It's a
paranormal pandemic.
It's a what do you call it? It's a
gathering.
this is happening all over the United States, if not all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
People are turning to this and exploring this, and it's becoming huge. And there are bad things, there are good things. There are people out there that are doing it for fun and money.
Well, fun's not bad.
Well, fun's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun's good. But the people are trying to take advantage of it through profiting on it for mischievous reasons, but everywhere. But this is starting to become a very, very highly social thing all around the country where people are starting to get involved. And it's all about education, I think, and awareness.
I think there's nothing wrong if you're. There was always that saying. I know you've heard it. If you're good at something, never do it for free. That's always been a statement that's resonated in my mind. But I think there's a way to do it. There's the proper way to do it. You can still, get paid for what you do, but still keep your what's the word I'm
Dignity.
looking for, Joey? Well, not just dignity, but maybe
Your scruples. I don't
Right.
know.
Authentication.
Yeah.
right. I mean, keep your
Morals.
theme, your morals, what you got into it originally
Ethics.
for.
Right.
Keep that throughout if you can do that, and I think that's pretty incredible.
And that's who we have been meeting for the last few weeks.
Right.
All these people calling in, and I'm just happy to know every one of them. It's just incredible.
Yep, it's a great family. It really is. So I'm lost now because you already did all your
man.
shout outs.
I know. I did it backwards
You did.
from normal, but I didn't want to, because I know once we get later in the show that a lot of our East Coast people drop off.
Yeah,
and
they
I
are.
wanted to
They
make
have.
sure we.
Somebody fell asleep
Yeah.
on us right over there.
So I want to make sure I
Don't wake
caught
him
all
up.
of those.
Don't wake him up. Just let him sleep.
And then Glam Bunny, of course, was up at 3 a.m.
Yes. I'm so glad she was
So-
on tonight. That was awesome.
Which
Very
it's
cool.
now after 4. It's going on 4:30.
Yep. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Everybody who got
Absolutely.
on, and you can always go back if you missed the show. You can watch it on YouTube, or they're all posted on YouTube, and that's usually what ends up happening. We usually get a lot of views after the fact.
Yes, and I want to announce that all of our live shows that we've done for the past, this was number 10.
Yep.
So this will be the newest one, but they'll all be available on our podcast
Yes.
platforms. So,
Thanks to
so
Jay.
we'll be getting those all uploaded here in the next week or so.
Jay's got his work.
He
cut out
does.
for him.
Yeah.
That's
That's,
awesome.
And stay tuned for more Julie information.
oh, yes.
We have a lot in store for
Yeah,
Julie.
there-
And stay tuned for more of the Dracula's Brick information.
Yes.
That's going to get exciting here
Yep.
soon.
You started a donation page, didn't you?
I did. I got
I saw that.
$5
Did you? Well, that's a start.
Yeah.
right away.
Well, we need to do it right.
We need
Not
to
that was wrong, but
No,
we need to
I
do
know. I
it,
understand.
do the GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start a GoFundMe, but
sure.
we need to get the story there. Let's do this. I
Yep.
love the
Mhm.
animation, the thing you did. That was incredible. Or that was you.
No,
That-
it was.
It was. Who was that?
Back and
That was-
forth.
Thank both of you.
But we do need to get a
I
story
told him he
behind
needed
it.
to do it, and he
It's
did
a
it. and then he
teaser.
came back.
We need to send out a teaser on that. That was really cool.
Joey's like the director. Joey's like, hey, Keith, can you do this?
He's a
Okay, sure.
producer. He's a director, and I'm just the.
That's how we work well as a team.
But no, stay tuned for the Dracula's Brick. That's going to be very interesting here soon.
That'll be cool. And Julie's story is going to be really cool.
And Julie's
I'm
story.
excited to hear about
I
that.
can't wait to hear about
And
that.
as soon as Mabel leaves Shannon, was it Shannon Airport? Is that what I
Yes,
said?
in Ireland.
In Ireland. Then hopefully she'll be in the States here in the next month or so.
That's
Is that how
gonna be
long the
interesting.
flight is?
Well, she just barely got what I sent her
Is she in quarantine?
on June 4th.
Oh yeah,
And what are we, August
yeah.
11th
She's going
today?
to go in through quarantine in every single place she
Yeah,
goes
probably.
through. So.
That's crazy.
And I got to give a shout out to our local teams. We got AZ Piers. We have Ghosts.
Peace.
So, we just did a couple of investigations with the group. And, man, you guys got to stay tuned for those episodes because it's gonna
Keith's
be
got his work cut out for him.
freaking
And
awesome. Yeah, I do. I sure do. But we love you guys. And we honestly, we wouldn't be doing this right now if it wasn't for you guys. And we really appreciate that. And like I said, we love you guys and look forward to
Yes,
the
we do.
future. So speaking of AZ Piers and that, let's do our farewell and run some
okay.
advertisements.
Well, first of all, then we'll say this has been The Truth About Beer and the
Number 10
number 10.
with special
10.
guest Longhorn Paranormal.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
So cheers until
next time.
Next
Till
time,
next week.
everybody.
Next Tuesday.
yeah.
We got Joey.
Oh, we're gonna echo here for a second.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers and
Okay,
good night,
well, there we
everybody.
go. If you are wondering where to find the truth about beer and merchandise, you've come to the right place. BS Designs has all the merch you've been looking for, from t-shirts and koozies to the very collectible The Truth About Beer and themed gnomes. Visit BS Designs today.
If you're looking to fill up your man cave, she shed, or just looking to decorate or redecorate your house, please visit our good friends at Boomer's Department Stores. And while you're there, be sure to check out their blog page.
Whether you're an aspiring paranormal enthusiast or a seasoned professional, or perhaps you're just looking to add to your equipment inventory, look no further than Ghost Hunters Outlet. They have all your equipment needs. For a limited time, mention the word beer in the promotional code for additional savings. And be sure to watch The Truth About Beer and on YouTube.
Welcome to The Truth About Beer.